Hi, friends. Narayani here. Today, I want to talk with you about trauma. Rebirth Asheville is a project that is committed to supporting practitioners who are supporting the community either pro bono or professionally to help heal from Hurricane Helene. And we had a beautiful trauma training last night with Robin Fan of Still Point Wellness. And I wanted to just jump on and really share with you about some of the key takeaways that happened during our trauma training last night, because I feel that it's important that people are trauma informed, not just practitioners, but everyone as a community. And so, what we know from trauma is that when we go through a traumatic experience, whether it's a natural disaster or a abusive situation or a death or a loss, that we get stuck in a response that has us go into a sympathetic response. So normally we want to be able to return to a balance between action, sympathetic response, and parasympathetic rest and digest. In our world, we have a lot of stress. And so what happens in general from stress is that we might stay in a sympathetic response, and then we go down into parasympathetic to rest and then crash. And instead of going and staying on these really high stress plateaus and then going all the way down into these plateaus of exhaustion, we want to get to a place like a wave that we're riding the energy um, of sympathetic and parasympathetic that's more in the middle. And it's a beautiful reminder of the value of self-care. So, excuse me. So if you think about exercise, if you want to lose weight and be healthy, you could go on a radical fast and you could just hit the gym every day for, 2 weeks. But if you try too fast and too hard to become healthy, you may not be creating new habits that over time bring you benefits, like having a friendship that cultivates trust, or a relationship that cultivates trust, or a partner. When you first get together, you don't really know each other that well. You don't have a lot of experiences. And so you may not have a full feeling of safety and connection with that person. But over time, the more positive experiences that you have, the more you build trust that supports you to feel safe and connected with that person. So, same thing with your nervous system. The more that you care for yourself, the more you build habits of nervous system care and regulation, the easier it is over time to shift out of stress or oversympathetic response and into more of a balance between sympathetic and parasympathetic response. There's lots of ways to get to that place. In my body of work, I feel like we really do this, which was an interesting and fabulous way to discover, for me, integrating my body of work with the trauma information that I've been receiving and learning about the last 6 months since the storm. And also in basic trauma work and in my body of work, Awakening Map Method, which I'm writing my book on, we work with the energetics of grounding, orienting, connecting, and working with how we feel in the body. So, what that looks like is making sure that you're doing grounding practices so that you're in the frequency of connection, support, and prepared to be present. If you are grounding yourself through physical sensation, through sending your energy down into the earth, through orienting yourself with the things around you and connecting with people that are with you, that you are with, you start to develop relationships where you can stand on your own 2 feet and you can bring yourself into a nervous system, parasympathetic response at will which gives your brain the ability to start to respond consciously instead of responding out of habitual reactions to things that come at you from a stress response. When we start to work with the feeling body, we start to work with the parts of ourselves that maybe haven't been fully felt, our needs that we haven't acknowledged, and the sensations that, when experienced, can help liberate the stories that are attached to past experiences. For example, if you start dating somebody new and what comes up for you is that person is not going to be available the first time that they don't call you back, you may be responding to them from your experience of the past of not being met, understood, and respected. And so what happens as a result is you then start to treat this person as if they are somebody that is the same as somebody from your past, instead of actually being present with what you feel in your body around not really feeling like you can open and trust another person. And what you might find is there's some contraction or some stress. And if you sit and you ground yourself and you breathe and you feel into that, it starts to liberate. The energy starts to move, and it no longer has this subconscious holding within your physiology over time. Now, sometimes it takes repatterning in order for you to get to that place where you're not feeling that reaction, or it might take an authentic, deep, loving connection and a grounding with that person to rewrite the story that you had been telling yourself as a result of your past experiences. And we know that from trauma response of lack of connection, intimacy, safe intimacy, dysfunctional attachments, that we have these reactions, and that the trauma response in the brain creates certain neural pathways that have us responding as if we're in the past, in the present. And it takes time to recondition the body, to recondition the mind, and to recondition how we respond to situations in order for the neurons to have a different response. And so through grounding and orienting and feeling and connecting through and with, we start to rewire the brain. In Awakening Map, which is the method that my book is on and that I coach clients through, we also work with the heart field after that to really connect with the energy of divinity and spirit, because we know that love is the greatest healer. And so I work with people to practice self-compassion without judgment, because what's true is that we all have various aspects of trauma and various aspects of pain and dysfunction from our past as a result of being part of the human family. And so the more compassion that we can have for ourselves, the more we can have for others. And what happens when you activate the grounding, the feeling body, and the love is that sometimes that which is not that needs to clear. So that's when energy clearing is really important to learn how to do, so that you're not taking on the pain of other people. If you want to learn more about this body of work, I want to invite you to consider checking out my courses, specifically the Awakening Map course. Or if you're interested in working privately with me, you can schedule a session and we can do a consult, and I'll put the links to that below. I thank you for checking out this video. If you like my channel, like or subscribe. Definitely stay in the loop, because I'm planning on coming on more often to provide valuable resource and information that support you and us collectively to heal from all the overwhelm in this world, so we can think clearly and show up in loving, compassionate service with our communities and ultimately with the planet and everyone everywhere. Thank you so much. I welcome your feedback and your insights as well. Namaste.